We're going to be painting the bunny egg holder today. This is a piece that we're going to want to paint both sides of these 4 pieces, because that way when you're looking at it from any angle, it'll look good. You're going to want some sort of cardboard or tablecloth down first. I like cardboard because it doesn't move as much. Some masking tape, sticky side up. I roll in the edges or the ends down and stick it down sticky side up. Put my pieces on here. Because all of these are going to be the same color, I can keep them on the same strip close together. And then I try to separate my colors, my pieces for each color. So this will be pink, this will be gray. I'm going to do my bow in blue, Caribbean blue, because it's my favorite color. I'm going to use some makeup sponges for the base colors, and then a chip brush to do the whitewash, which we'll do after the first coat is dry. So let's start with the gray. Just lay it down on a paper plate. Probably need more than that, but take my makeup sponge, get some on there, and then kind of dab off the excess so it's not too goopy. Depending on the paint that you use, you may need 2 coats or you may need just 1. These lines on here, so you can see I'm just painting the whole thing. These are guides for where you're going to glue down these other pieces. I made this in layers for you so that kids can be messy, they can smear it on, they can goop it on, and they won't have to worry about getting inside or outside the lines. So as long as you kind of keep your pieces separate, it's gonna look good in the end. So don't worry about it getting, see how I was showing you kind of like how you can goop it on. It's not gonna matter. You're gonna get it on the edges. They're probably gonna get it on the edges, but I promise you in the end, it's still gonna look super cute. So slap it on, let your kids slap it on. Don't worry about too many rules there, and just let them have fun. So get this down first. If they miss some spots, honestly, I think it's fine. Bunnies can be any color. They could have, you know, some of the brown showing through, and once you get that whitewash on there, you're gonna see how it kind of covers up some of the flaws. So we're gonna go pink next. This can go pretty fast. My daughter is pretty used to doing this, and so she can paint these kits rather quickly now. Okay, dabbing it on, smearing it on. I forgot to grab another makeup brush, and it's okay. I'm just gonna use the side because it's just this one little piece, and my blue looks pretty faint. I might have to give 2 coats on this, we'll see. I have some cutout details on there so that, again, it's the whole idea is just to be able to make it really easy to paint and still have it look good. So that's why I kind of have some of the bow details sticking out. All right, this stuff dries like super fast, and I'm gonna flip mine over right away. And I'm not gonna press down too hard with this side, just because it is a it's pretty fresh, but it's pretty dry also. I didn't see any wet spots on it. And if I have to, I'll go over that front side again. You might want to start with the back side. That way if there is any mistakes made, it's more on the side that you might not see as much. I kind of used scrap pieces for mine, so yours won't have a line on the back of the foot like that. Maybe I do need to stick it down a little bit more. You really don't need a lot of paint. If you do the option on my website to buy it with paint, you will be getting these colors, and I might add a couple other choices for bow colors, and I'm going to include enough white, so if you want to do a white bunny, you can do a white bunny, or just use the white for the whitewash. So you can do a white or gray bunny. I might even do a brown option. Now that I think about it, it might be cute. So, all right. Now that that's going, I might add just a tiny bit more blue to my bow. And maybe even more pink to my feet. Just need a dab. There's not much that you're painting here as far as surface area, so you don't really need that much paint. All right, let's move on to the whitewash technique. Hold on. A little bit more blue on my bow. Okay. Oopsie. All right, so lay down some white. Take your chip brush. This is the kind of brush that I'll include with the kit if you buy supplies, and it's been used a few times and different colors, and sat in the water for way too long, so it soaked up the paint color water up the brush. It's ragged, and I think actually because of its raggedness it works even better for this technique. So I'm going to take my brush in my paint. I should mute my phone, huh? Take my brush, and I'm just kind of getting a little bit on here at an angle. I'm not going to really use this end of it too much, so I'm not going straight down in the paint. I want the sides of the brush, and I don't want too much. I don't want it gooped on there, so I'm dabbing it, kind of getting good coverage. Now I'm going to go at the very end of the brush because I want light pressure, okay? And I'm not dabbing like this, but you want very light pressure of the brush, and I'm going to go drag it. I'm dragging it across the pieces very lightly. Flip the brush over if you feel like you need more. Go light at first. Find out what your brush and your paint level is doing. I'm now adding more pressure as I go over it. My first run was very light. Now I'm gonna add more pressure because I'm seeing not a lot of white is being transferred. So I'm adding more pressure, but start off light. Figure out what you need to do. So now I'm adding more because obviously there's not as much paint left on my brush. Okay, that's actually what I want it to look like. Now, I have done these two where go all different directions, right? If you have to, depending on the age of your child, load up the brush for them. I need more paint. I didn't add enough. You can load up the brush for them so that it doesn't get too crazy with white, but if they want to go different directions, I think that is going to look cool too. So this is the back. We're going to do the same technique to the front, but maybe have them start with the back so that they can get a little bit of practice as to how it works. I'm going to do all pieces with the same whitewash. So I'm just going to go across the pieces in like all different directions. I kind of like that better than just the one direction. If you feel like you got too much, you can always go over it with the blue, try again, but really I think it's gonna look just fine no matter what. It really is. So I might try it off a little bit before flipping it over. Fan it for about a minute. Use a hair dryer if you need to. If they got way too much on there. Almost. Kind of see. All right, looks good. Flip them over. Go again. I have very little left on here. Let's see how much I need. Maybe I might need more. Stay. Let's see here. You can tell, like, I'm just being very random right now, and it's gonna be okay. It's part of it. I think it adds something. It kind of adds a little dimension, and so I think that'll be really awesome. So, for the sake of the video, I think I'm gonna just start gluing these down. Let me get my glue. Let's see here. If you did get the paint supplies, I'm including this glue. If you did not buy your own paint supplies, you could, honestly, I think you could probably get away with school glue, any other wood glue, and if you do a super glue, that's fine too. Just know that you don't have as much time to reposition. This is one of my favorite just all-purpose super glue. It bonds in 30 seconds. You got a couple seconds before it really sticks down. So if you're impatient, I would use this or some super glue similar thing if you can trust your kids with it. Also, if kids are involved, I don't let them use this. It does, when it gets on my fingers, it takes some time to come off, but it eventually does. This is easy water cleanup, so it takes a little bit longer to dry, but it's a pretty good durable glue. I just put it on the plate like so. I use my normal paintbrushes that I supply with my kits because it washes off. I've used glue with these brushes a lot. So I take my paintbrush and I'm gonna dry fit, make sure I have the right piece, and I just paint it on the back and stick it down. Use the lines as your guide. It will fit right inside the lines. You got some time to reposition a little bit. I don't even add too much pressure with these. They're not gonna really need a weight or anything like that, like a heavy object or anything on top. I just need a little bit extra time to dry than the super glue would. If you do get excess glue on the outside of your pieces, this does not dry clear. It will have a slight yellow color similar to what it looks like now. But if you take a toothpick within that first half hour, 45 minutes, I would suggest waiting a little bit before you start picking at it. But if you are within kind of that window, maybe after 15-30 minutes, and you get a toothpick or some other, even like a utility knife, you can kind of pick up some of the excess glue around the edges if your kids got a little bit too messy. Putting on the earpieces. Fun thing about this design, it is using, I can't remember what I started with. I think 2 years ago I started with the Easter egg basket, the Easter basket tags, the personalized tags. And I designed a set that had floppy ears and these feet. And I hand drew everything, and since then I've used the same, how should I say it? I hand drew everything and then I converted it in my design program on my computer. I created the vector lines so that the laser cutter can cut the shapes, and since then I've used those same ears and those same feet, I think about 4 or 5 different files or products. So these are the same ears, and here, I got my example here. So this is the Easter tags. It's the same ears and the same feet as this. This is also a paint kit. My daughter painted this layer, and then this one comes white and you just glue it on top, and then these are Easter tags. So you'll see on my site sometimes, and this is the same bow. The same, once I drew one, it's kind of like work smarter, not harder. I just resized it for this purpose. So that is that. And I think I've talked enough to where these should not fall off. They still move, but they're on there. So I can kind of show you right away. Oh, my bow, right? I think I'm gonna put my bow up here. Now, so this can go here for boys or up here for girls, and really they can choose whatever ear or placement that they want. You can actually even put it centered. Find out where they want it and then determine where you want to put your glue. If they want it centered like here, like this, you're not going to want glue on the inside. You just want a little bit of glue on the ears. One tip that you can do, as I knock stuff off my wall, you can, if you need to, you could maybe draw a little bit of a pencil mark so you know when you pick up the piece where it's safe to put the glue on this side. If it's down here, you're pretty much safe putting it pretty much everywhere in the middle. I want mine over here, and I can see I just need a little bit of glue at the edge of the ear. So I already put my brush in the water. That is fine. Just dry it off. You can already see the glue is just kind of come off of it just from sitting in the water. So I'm going to dab a little bit of glue right there. Decide if I want that excess white to be on the top or the bottom. I think it's going to be kind of a highlight, so kind of like the sun shining on it. So I want the excess white to be on the top half. Press down. Give it a moment. And I can kind of start assembling this. So these will come in and out, slide into the holes pretty easily. I designed it with a little bit of space. So if your kids get a lot of paint on here, it won't be too difficult to get into the slots. But at the same time, if it's too loose now, because I didn't get enough paint on it, there's a couple things you can do. One, you could take the glue and put some glue in there, but then you do have a permanent 3D structure. I kind of like the idea of being able to store this flat with all my Easter stuff. So what you can do is even take some of the tape that you've already used, right? That you're done with now. Take a small little piece. Got it on my fingers. Take a small little piece of tape, and I'm going to tape a little bit on the edge, okay? I'm gonna take my feet again and put it in there. Now it's much tighter. Now it's stuck. Now it's firm, but I can still wiggle it out. So when I want to store it at the end of the year or at the end of the Easter season, I can. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this tape, I'm sorry if I am off camera sometimes. I cannot see my screen. So I'm kind of winging it here. I see this piece is a little too big. I can even cut it down. Okay. I'm going to do the same. Doesn't have to be a perfect piece, just a little bit of something to cover the tab. Again, I didn't want to make it too tight to where even you've had to sand it down to make it fit. I'd rather it have a little bit of wiggle room versus having the pain of trying to shove it in there and maybe even breaking off the tab. Putting this tape on there, it makes getting it in there a lot easier than forcing two pieces of wood together. The tape has a little bit of give. Okay, my bow should be dry. So now we're gonna fit, I should check the camera every once in a while. We're gonna fit these two pieces together now. Okay. I'm gonna get them lined up at the same time because I have that tape on there. I want to use a little bit straight downward pressure. There we go. And oh my gosh, so cute. And let's see here. I will adjust the camera here in a moment. But your painted Easter egg in there, and then a photo. Gosh, let me see if I can find a photo real quick. Hold on.